Hello and welcome. I am Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio where creativity shines. With over 20 years of public school teaching experience, I bring step-by-step art instructions and ready-to-use art lessons to spark creativity in students and offer art teachers a much-needed reprieve. Let's create something wonderful together. Hello, it's A.M. Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio, where creativity shines. And you know what? I have been researching about the Chinese Lunar New Year because as of this filming, it is January 22nd, 2025. And my understanding is that the Chinese Lunar New Year is coming up next week. I thought that I would look into these lanterns. Now, I've heard about these lanterns for several years and I have yet to produce a lesson based on these. And if you're familiar with the Disney movie Tangled with Rapunzel, A.M. Snyder has a liking for that movie because Rapunzel's an artist, of course. And then there's these lanterns that glow and they float in the air. Now, I do wonder since that is a non-Chinese story, if that story tied in the Chinese lanterns, if you follow what I'm saying. But anyway, I think that when I saw Rapunzel by Disney and saw those lanterns, I started to investigate it even more. Now, that's been several years, of course. But I have finally come up with a lesson on drawing these lanterns and producing a beautiful picture. Yes, a beautiful picture. Learning about balance. That was like my focus, balance, and then space and balance. Space is an element of art. Balance is a principle of design. Principles of design are made with the elements of art. Now, I could go into all that, but you know what? That's a whole separate video. So now let me get into drawing our Lunar New Year lanterns to celebrate, well, let's say we're going to celebrate bringing in the spring. So we have several different shapes that can be used for these lanterns. And what I did was I went out and Google and I looked at images of lanterns and then I just drew my own, okay? Now if you are interested in these, I do have the set as well as a lesson plan and even additional images that talk about space and balance. They're all out there on my blog and you can purchase through my Teachers Pay Teachers site. So if you are interested in that, you are welcome to check that out. What I'm going to do for us today is draw one of these and I'm going to talk about the symmetry that's involved in drawing the lantern. So I thought that I would draw this one here, and as I'm going to draw it, I'm going to focus on trying to make it the same on both sides because of this shape, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the center here. I'm going to angle my paper. And I'm thinking I want it to be angled so it's not just totally up and down. However, talking about balance, if it were totally up and down, it was totally the same on both sides, because that's what symmetry is. It's equal on both sides, a mirror image. Then the entire composition of the drawing would be symmetrical. And that is one way that we can balance our artwork. So it's stable, and it has some very dignified aspects to it because of the stability of it. And we like things to be equal as human beings. But I'm going to turn my paper. And I'm going to draw the oval at an angle because the paper's turned, okay? So it looks like it's kind of like blowing, all right? So I'm going to draw my curve. That curve is about the length of my pointer finger. I like to use my fingers and hands to guide size. And then I can decide how wide I want this oval. I'm going to go around. Yes, like that. I could even use my hand for that. Okay, and then I can come over here and I'll know that I have to go the opposite direction because that makes sense. But just by measuring that, I can get what I need. There we go. And yes, I have multiple lines. I can erase those. I drew lightly, okay? Drawing lightly is important. I could put an invisible line right here, a vertical straight line, and then on either side, my verticals, and then my curvy line going across. So this curve, I'm going to repeat that right there. Now I'm going to come down, and I'm going to line this up. My line of symmetry, and on either side, making it similar. Ta-da, right? Now, I'm going to give it a hanger, just like that. You can see how we're making it similar on both sides, as closely as possible. I can adjust that. And then we're going to have this hanger, these little tassels fly out. Little zigzags. And then we can decorate it. Now, one of the things I have in this information that's available for sale is a form that gives you additional ideas of what you can decorate your lantern with. So we have some border designs and some of the symbols and animals that are known for Asian type cultures. Okay, so I have to decide how I want to decorate my lantern. And going back through here, I am thinking that I'm just going to make it up as I go, honestly. I think that I want to divide this. So if this is my line of symmetry, then I'm going to go from here over, and then from here over, and then in the center here, I'm going to draw in the flower. Yeah, let's just do that. And draw in a big flower. So, talking about balance here, because I'm drawing a flower, there's a center point, and we can call that radial balance because everything's coming out and going around the center. The same amount of information and weight. And there's our radial balance flower. And I'm going to add to it here with these fun little shapes. Yeah. And then I have to make a choice. Am I going to draw half the flower over here, like there's another one on this side, or am I going to draw something else over here? I honestly want to make it look kind of rigid, so I think I'm going to add this line and then this line, and then this line and that line, and I'm going to divide up the space. And then make it just a little rigid. I like that very much. Now I'm going to go over it with Sharpie and I'm going to color it in. Now for me, I tend to add as I outline. So I draw the basic overall image, and then as I'm tracing over, sometimes I add something that wasn't there, or I don't trace something because I'm like, I don't want that in the end. So beware of that as I go along. I like that. I'm glad I did that. So, even when instructing, I try to make sure to throw out to students to come up with some of their own ideas, like I just did. Even though I had those references, I developed a new idea here, which is exciting. I think that's exciting for the kids to do. It's exciting for me. And it's exciting for me to see what they come up with. And if you are a student, I hope you get excited. Okay, and I really wanted to draw on the inside of that, or on the outside, and I didn't. So I'm going to squeeze this in, and if I make a mistake, oh well. I did it. I did it. I really do want to add to this too, so I'm going to. And then, okay, so this is swaying, so we need to attach it to something. I'm going to draw in here a cable. There it is. And now I'm thinking this is empty up here, so I may want to add something else here. So I'm going to draw in a smaller lantern. Now, I didn't use a pencil, so I can't make that any better. It's just what it is. Yes, I think I'm just going to crisscross some lines. There we go. And it also needs to be hanging on something. And so another addition to this lesson is that this is closer to us because it's at the bottom. It's lower in the picture, so we have a little more details. This is up further. It's supposed to be further away. It is smaller. It could just be smaller, or it could be depicting that it's further away and therefore it is smaller. Now I'm going to take my eraser and erase the lines I don't need. And then, as you can see here, I have not just markers, I have highlighters because these are lanterns. And I thought that the highlighters would give it more of that illuminated feel. We shall find out shortly. So, scoop that aside. Normally I have a drafting brush. You can use a dustpan and brush that are just for your art, and that would work wonderful too. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the lighter color, which is yellow, because that makes sense. And I'm going to color everything I want yellow, and then I'm going to use the darker colors as I go on. And these highlighters hopefully will make the artwork look bright and fun for the night sky, to bring in goodness, joy, peace, calm. And I think that in those Asian type cultures like China, there's more about luck, good luck for the new year. A.M. Snyder's not all about luck. I don't believe in that. But it's fun to learn about other cultures, what their traditions are, their beliefs, and, well, what they do to decorate. Artistically, it's fun to look at these. I think that's what I'll do. Yeah, do I want it there? No, I don't want it there. Alright, so now I'm going to take the pink, color in things that are pink. No, not just the highlighters, you can use regular markers, you can use watercolor paint, whatever you have. Colored pencils are fine. I'm just demonstrating how the highlighters may help make the lanterns look lit. Glowing. Okay. I use the glue up here. Because there's chisel point there, and it's a little challenging to work with them to figure out what direction to hold. They're also thick compared to that yellow one I had. The thicker markers, a little more awkward in my hand. I don't know how they would feel in your hand. Okay. Let's get this glue. And I'm going to use some green. Well now, that green highlighter is not what I expected, I think. So I may not use that for all of it, but I used it there, so now I have to move forward with it, right? Or redo it. And A.M. Snyder is not all about using up paper. So I'm going to move forward with it. Doesn't look too bad. It looks more like the yellow though, which is the unfortunate part. I'm going to add the red here. Get my drawing space, since I everything tends to roll. And it's an additional way in which you can use this as a color. Or you can use it for contrast. I need to bring it right now. We're going to pick as a contrast that. The lanterns will be with warm colors, cool colors. Maybe we can find the contrast here. Do I want to do anything else? I think I want to use red. Okay, now I have a bonus supply that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this gold paint. I used it with my fireworks lessons, so if you are interested in what I did there, please check it out. And I have my gold here, and I have a very tiny brush. I'm just going to take the paint out of my lid because it's my paint. And I'm going to paint the areas that I would like to have sparkle or shine with this metallic paint. Again, if you take a look out and Google Chinese New Year's, Lunar New Year lanterns or the Lantern Festival, you will see how gold seems to be a color they use in these lanterns. I'm trying not to paint into my black outline, but it does happen. If it bothers you or your student, or you are a student and it bothers you, just when it's dry, you can always take your Sharpie and draw over it. Really, you can. Okay, so I have a lot of paint bulked up there, so I'm going to slide off the side on my container over here. And then pick the paint up on the tips of the hairs, the brush, the toe of the brush. And now I'm going to use this gold on top of the red tassels that I colored in as well. Add some sparkle here, some shimmer. Okay, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking of Chinese restaurants, or when I've gone into Chinese restaurants. Sometimes they have some of these lantern type decorations, very festive. All right, So now the final thing is to paint the space around it black with watercolor to make it look like it's nighttime. So I have watercolor over here off the camera frame, so I'm just going to use it. I'm not going to move it into the camera frame because I think you all know what watercolor looks like. Less water will make it darker, more water will make it lighter. Now I'm going to paint this and then I'm going to edit because I'm sure you don't wish to just watch me paint. So I'm going to paint around everything and I will come back to you with it painted. Alright, so learning from each other is always a good thing. That is painted black, and the next thing I'm going to do is going to take this metallic paint again, and I'm just going to take it out of the lid. I'm going to use the back end of the smaller brush I had, and put it into the gold paint. Tap, 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 tap. Yes, as teachers, we enjoy the tap, tap, don't we? That's me being sarcastic. And I'm just going to polka dot some sparkles around the lights to indicate the lighting of these lamps, these lanterns, I should say, and the sparkle they bring. Tap, 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 tap. Now, my paper's still wet, so if you don't want to do it while it's wet, or if you have students doing this, this might be, alright, we're finished for today, and we're going to do one little extra thing next time, and you do it the next time. You give it about 30 minutes, it should be dry, and then you can do it if you are a student following along with me. And student doesn't mean that you have to be young, you can be an older student as well. Now, those are my Lunar New Year lanterns. I hope that you've enjoyed following along with A.M. Snyder from Snyder's Sunshine Art Studio, and that hopefully I have shined some cultural creativity into your world. Enjoy and check out my blog, my website at www.snydersunshineartstudio.com or my Teachers Pay Teachers site, because I have a lesson where we have a little extra involved with our lanterns, and you can find these references as well as some additional cultural history and art concepts that you can tie into the overall lesson if you are that interested and you're an art teacher for that matter. If you're not an art teacher, well, please enjoy this activity, and I will see you in another video. Thank you. Bye-bye.